Sizleri
One of the major entrepreneurships of initiatives of today is to make you an NGO volunteer today. We have teams outside waiting to accomplish that. But it also means to have a good working discipline and have a hardworking attitude to be able to do that. We need volunteers that are hardworking and well in their work, effective in their work. And how can we bring them together, and how can we make an impact? And moreover, can volunteerism be a career? So in that sense, I would like to present a group that has made their own path, paved their own path, and making a career out of volunteerism. And in that sense, I would like to invite, as a moderator for this session, Mr. Ulaş Tepe, second youngest mayor in Turkey now, and who has defined happiness as a person doing the job that he loves to do and reaching his or her dreams. That we have a video that's introducing him. Let's watch that video.
Kısa bir tanıtım filmi. Bu
A
filmin
very brief
tamamına
introduction
bence
video. I do believe you can get the entire footage from mutluluk.undp.gr or the Turkish channel. So, for the panel shortcut to volunteerism, I would like to invite Murat, Göllü, Renay, Onur, Ayhan, Soyfidan, and Ulaş Tepe to the stage for the panel with your applause. And thank you very much for this wonderful introduction, Mr. Aktepe. I say here that volunteerism is important in societies shaping their own structures and their own future, and allowing them the chance to have a say in the formation of their social structure. It's a lifestyle, I have to say. And in this panel, we are going to be together with the local actors who are most significant factor in volunteerism. I would like to share a few data with you before that, just a few minutes of your time. In 2018 report by the UN report, it's called Volunteerism in the World. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's the most clear survey touching upon the effects of volunteerism in Turkey. 1 billion people are working volunteers for a better world. And from this billion, we said 109 million are a full-time task force in that sense. So if we would think of it as a country, it would be the 12th greatest or largest country following Japan. So this figure is 3 times the figure of the finance world. For example, it also changes according to Canada. The impact of volunteers on economy is more than the automotive sector. So in that sense, we see that volunteerism in itself, it means something different in each culture. So, but the research shows us in Turkey that we are one of the bottom 4 or 5 in the global scale. So we have less than 7% volunteers in our country. And on this topic, we have very significant speakers here. I would like to give the word to Renay, Onur, Spor İstanbul General Manager. And I would like to ask him about his efforts to contribute to volunteerism in Turkey. He's also one of the founding partners of volunteering platforms. I would like to leave the word to you. And Adım Adım is one of his projects. Who has taken part in Adım Adım, the Run project? It says 70,000 people have taken part, and 550,000 people have actually contributed, donated through these participants. Thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for your invitation to take part. Let me first start by saying what volunteer means for me and for the human being in my perspective. On my behalf, I can say that I was 35 when I first made my volunteer run for the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, and when I was 35, and I had worked in 3 or 4 different companies until I was 35. Until then, I had not come across any disabled person, neither during my education nor during my career. Until then, I had not even been in the same social environment with them, and when I think of that, it's quite bitter when I think of that time. But fortunately now my son is 9 years old, and in his school, in his environment, there are no disabled friends either. So, but there is a small change, a gradual change. But for myself, I say that after 35, I stepped into this world. I work not only with the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, but also with more close to 100 NGOs to be able to understand the world of volunteerism and of these people. When I started to hear those stories, when I met those people, when I started to do something to change their lives, I started to change myself. That's what happens to people. When you start to change yourself, it's like a domino effect. You change your environment as well. This is actually the impact of volunteerism. It changes you and takes the steps. In Adım Adım, we started out as 6 people, and we have now reached 70,000 people, and they have these 70,000 have changed the lives of 200,000 through the donations of 550,000. In that sense, when you have good in your actions, or sports in your actions, and fun in your actions, it's sort of contagious to others as well. And so it took us 7 years to reach 5,000 volunteers, but last week only 5,000 volunteers initiated an aid campaign in that sense. So this shows you the rate of the expansion of this project, and also this scaling of our project also was quite influenced by Ashoka activities as well, as in the previous panel stated. This has to do, the volunteerism has to do with the change of the person itself, or himself or herself. When the person changes, then the cities start to change, the environment starts to change, the societies start to change. In that sense, I believe that the city has changed. Our aim with Sports Istanbul in our new project is to turn the city into a city that breathes with sports, that lives with sports. And in the Istanbul Marathon that we'll be taking into effect in November, we're working with 1,000 volunteers in that sense, and they will be supporting us in diverse fields. They can still contribute by volunteers. I do invite everyone to be with us on the 3rd of November, which will take place with a marathon. Our aim is not to keep these volunteers at 1,000 people, but to grow them in that sense. My dream itself is this, for example, I would have volunteers in each and every park in Istanbul, where they would be carrying out some physical exercises, sports. Yes, we have already 50 facilities, but there is an end to being able to build facilities. But Istanbul in itself has hundreds of squares, hundreds of parks, where we can turn into living, breathing facilities through our volunteers, and each and every day. I do believe there is one more significant point to volunteerism. I have to point that out as well. As you know, all the companies have their volunteerism and volunteer activities to be able to enhance employee loyalty, because in that sense, someone who has taken in that small breath of volunteerism changes their interests, their passions, and when they change, it also changes your business and impacts your business as corporations as well. Yes, unfortunately, Turkey is one of the bottom 6th or 7th country among 145 countries in the world. But if we can increase the number of volunteers in Istanbul in any field, whatever it may be, it doesn't have to be sports, in any field, we start increasing the number of people who are closely bonded to their city. So when you increase the number of volunteers, when you enhance volunteerism, you change the people, you change the cities, and you will have an increase in the number of people who have their city close at heart and who are bonded and who care for their city in that sense. So I believe that in this way we will be able to create this for Istanbul as well. Yes, we have started out on that path thanks to you. Now we move on to Ayhan.
Okay, you're the vice mayor of Pamukkale, so you're coming from a volunteer background, Ayhan Bey. So what is the contribution of volunteerism in your life? So you have accomplished a position that you're owning right now. All of you have learned is trying to be integrated in your mayorship life. What is the civil approach in actually municipalities' duties, and in order to have the contribution of your people in your city, in your citizenship surrounding, what are you doing as a municipality, and what are you doing in order to accomplish that? Thank you very much for bringing us this opportunity to express ourselves. Actually, volunteerism is the basis of our business. What is volunteerism for me? I would like to summarize it for myself. What I can take, what I can contribute, what we can do together is important for me. Actually, with this idea, with this mindset, if you move forward and then the other things are coming and following you and new doors are opening to you. And of course, it is not only what I can give and what I can take, it is the matter of acting together. So when we look at the environment, if we can act commonly, if we can place a common mindset, then it is becoming an accomplishment. And we need to work in harmony to work together, actually. This is what volunteerism contributed among us. Actually, in my life, I really feel it very deeply. Volunteerism is asking sometimes to act with your mind, sometimes to act with your heart, or you need to combine those two concepts, two fields in balance. You need to reflect them in your register, you need to reflect them in your manners and behaviors. You cannot act only with your mind, you cannot act only with your heart, with your feelings, and of course we are a local governor with Ulash. And local governorship and working for the municipality is only perceived as something political. When you're coming from volunteerism, it is very hard to act as a governor. As Renay has just said, you need to work hand in hand. You need to collaborate and you need to act together for a certain purpose, for a common goal. And civil governing is not something very actually difficult to do. All of your expertise and experience is having a reciprocity on the public side. Since 2003, I am fully involved in volunteer activities. I have hundreds and thousands of friends who have become volunteers. In the past, it was only perceived something from the social society, NGO type of activities. Now it's a sponsorship notion, for example, is transforming into a responsibility, and this is bringing a success. I'm not only carrying on a sponsorship responsibility there, I have a corporate social responsibility actually as a sponsor. With our civil standing way of actions, we are trying to do something for the municipality. I'm involved in the municipality business for 6 months. We are having activities which is taking into consideration participation, actually. I am also the city council chair in Pamukkale. I'm so much involved in NGO business, civil society business. And on the other side, we will be having sports workshop. We will be having social responsibility workshops. I would like to speak about the content in the local area. Pamukkale University is in our region. So the local youth generation, all of that, student groups and student communities and clubs, we will be asking them what they would like to have in their life. And we will be telling them that we do have a limited budget. We do have a certain limit. This is our limit. Within this limit, what would you like to do? Come to us and we will be providing whatever you need. We will be placing the cake between us and we will be sharing it between us. Actually, in our district, all of the institutions, all of the sports clubs will be gathered, and we will be telling them that 2020's sport agenda will be created together, and as the local governors and as with the other institutions, what we can help you, what we can cooperate, and how we can decide it together. And volunteerism really contributed such kind of approaches in my fashion. Actually, in the past, I have seen some practices as the activities of municipalities. If we would be doing it in a different way, we would be doing it totally different. I have taken this opinion, this inspiration from the tea man, from an office boy, which was bringing me tea. Actually, I have had an inspiration, and I have tried to regulate it according to the needs of the people in our surrounding. So from the lowest part to the highest part of the municipality, we are acting with a common mindset and with a collaborative mindset. This is what is new in our approach. Actually, the city councils actually attempts is including the participation, and if we can reach to a common consensus and the mindset, we will be achieving a lot. Actually, we are beyond I. We are speaking about we. When we are speaking about the 12th goal of the sustainable development goals, actually, we are aware that the 12th goal is pointing out the responsible consumption and production, and it will be addressing to that means, actually. Okay, Ulaş, Tepe, since you're coming from the youth volunteerism, you have also mentioned to me that you have taken active roles in Yerel 21 and Local 21, and you have managed the city in harmony. You're carrying a big responsibility as the mayor of Gülyalı, Ordu. What is your awareness and sense of belonging about being the citizen of a city? His Gülyalı municipality, what are you aiming to do? What are your objectives? What is your vision and mission? You can also speak about intergenerational volunteerism. Yes. First of all, I would like to say hello to everyone. Actually, today, as you have just mentioned, I have a very long tale, and my story has started in the 3rd class of the primary school. Our teacher has distributed us a card, and everybody was writing what they would like to be in the future. I wanted to be a mayor. At the age of 29, it is not a coincidence that I have become the mayor. Since the 3rd class of the primary school, I have shown a huge attempt, and my biggest thanks will be going to Gülyalı citizens. As the mayor of that region, of course, we need to create a harmony, and we need to act like an orchestra maestro. Actually, we need to hear a common tune, and we need to hear a very musical tune. All of that expertise, experience, transparent and accountable way of understanding has aimed to be implemented, and we are calling it as the new generation municipality activity. And we are not dictating anything. We are asking for the opinion of the citizens, and we are having meetings every month. We are doing our meetings in different districts of our city, and we are asking the participation of our citizens, because I was always dreaming about our city, because the municipality actually council is the highest authority. I have not seen the participation of the woman. I wanted to hear the sound of the woman also, so we have brought it to the different neighbors. In which field we are working? We are going and asking for the opinion of the people related with that topic. We are constructing a new playing ground for children in our district, and so we don't have the same experiences with Ayhan. I'm going to repeat some certain things. We would be constructing a playing ground for children, and from my social media account, I have proposed 3 different opinions, and the children have selected their favorite playing ground. with their votes, they have elected that. With the consciousness of being a citizen, they are feeling themselves so much adapted, so much belonging. So we are the owner. I have just recognized that as a citizen of that region, I'm not criticizing, I am constructing. I was always on the other side of the table. Now, as being the governing side of the table, I'm listening what is being told to me. I'm replacing myself in their shoes, and then I'm trying to understand them. What I'm trying to do is creating a family-like environment in my city. The more volunteers you are becoming, the better decisions that you're taking, and you are bringing your city for the future with a better manner, with a better approach. If you do take a decision which you are not asking the opinion of your citizens, then they do not feel self-belonging. They do not have the self-perception. So we do have the population of 9,300 people. We are actually in need of establishing a city council. It is essential to establish a city council. We will be establishing the smallest city council of Turkey. But actually, inclusion, the sense of inclusion is essential that we are trying to achieve within a harmony, within a family environment. We are having a slogan. Actually, we would like to hear a municipality, we would like to hear the smiles and laughter of the children on our streets. Actually, we are giving an ear to our children. If we are making our children, I believe everyone would be happy, because as a society, we are having a common point. Our children are our common point. From the rural areas, we see a migration to the urban areas. There is a certain reason of unemployment, but of course, our citizens are migrating in order to have a better education for their children. So we need to keep the women and so youth generation and children in our focus, and we are giving them priority. Our citizens have got, and their opinions have got a priority in our program. Thank you very much. By the way, I believe that you would be in my place, because I see people who do have actually brilliant, sparkling eyes, and they are so much in love with the business they're doing. Murat Göllü, Akbank Corporate Communication Director. Now, the private sector has got a great importance, actually. Thank you very much for your attempt. You do have 1,000 volunteers as Akbank, as far as I know. You're undersigning a lot of projects. You're a volunteer of your own. They are not coincidences, actually. It is starting from an individual, and it is being disseminating and transforming the environment. And you do have a lot of teams, and you do have a lot of awards which you have received. Would you please tell us about Akbank's volunteer programs? How did you achieve the success, and how did you create such inclusion, sense of inclusion?
Aslında bu sosyal
As my friend also talked about, these social projects are more associated with the institution. We have different works about these projects and about kids and about children, but there's also another very important subject. It's about volunteering, and volunteering is not an initiative by our institution. It's actually an initiative by our employees, and because we are a volunteering system, we are taking different materials from schools, about villages, and they ask us to help about the clothes or other human rights. And because while you're helping, you have to include them. You have combined them with education, with culture, with your corporate culture. But everybody has limited resources, unfortunately, and you may answer them in a negative way. So we talked about our commercial friends and our employees, and why are we not supporting them? And within our division, why are we not volunteering to help and sending our division? So we thought about putting a box within the food court or in our company, and we start collecting different items from our friends. Some people didn't get the boxes, they throw trash in them, but our friends cleaned them up and picked up the items and sent them. Then we included the central headquarters into this box system, and we have about 40 volunteer ambassadors for in our system. We are collecting different books, toys, clothes, and another thing that we are very proud of is in every holiday for we are collecting different children's names. We are creating a wish tree, and before the holiday, our volunteers are sending them gifts from their wishes. So we thought about can we connect this system with our bank. So we started getting resources from the bank to help and volunteer, and we started different workshops about informing the children about value of saving money and controlling money. But as the volunteerism within the bank has grown, it has been going viral within the company. And for example, there was a running system for example, we had 8,000 volunteers, and we have we have collected over 500,000 Turkish liras from them. For example, photography club is my favorite. For example, in Galata, our friends were taking pictures of birds, and so our friends started this photography club. So the children who are under protection of the government has problems. They don't have any pictures. So our friends started an album for 200 children, and by creating an album for them, when the children grow up, they will have documentation about their pasts, and they can remember that if they had curly hair or blue eyes, they would be able to take a look back at these pictures. So in addition to that, we are generating a lot of great projects within the company. So we had another project about youth as well. We started with the 3 different NGOs, and we are making a project. We are filming an advertisement, and it will be on the air on the Monday. We made a post on Friday, and by the Saturday morning, our volunteer quota was filled. So our advertisement was not needed. So we changed it to be able to. That's the system I would like to think. I have to say that it's an ongoing project, and it has been 5 years. About 12,000 youth has been included, and about 3,000 more are joining us every year. And our dear audience, I would like to say one last sentence, and I would close our panel. I don't know if you ever heard about the evolution of human society. It's a research about human development, and it says that ergonomically giving is easier than taking. We can give forever, but we have limits of when we are taking. So join the system through the national volunteering systems and follow our stands. I would like to see that how many volunteers have been joined us by the end of the day. I would like to thank you all for your additions and for your experience and speeches.